If your dog does this, every time they see another dog, then stick around because I'm about to share 3 essential skills every reactive dog needs to overcome their reactivity. These skills will help redirect their focus away from their triggers and bring it back to you where it belongs. But that's not all. I'll also show you real-time examples with real dogs who are, or at very least, were reactive. The footage you're about to see comes straight from one of our recent socialization classes. And before you hit me with the usual comments like, try it with a real reactive dog, let me stop you right there, because of every single dog you're about to see was reactive just a few weeks ago. That's right, reactive to dogs, to people, or in some instances, both. This just goes to show that with the right behavioral tools, strategies, and consistent application, your dog's life can be much less stressful within weeks, even in the presence of their triggers. So let's get started.
Aim of the game with our dog that might have a propensity to be reactive to any particular stimuli, whether it be a person or another dog. Our objective is low arousal, exposure to the trigger with as little reactions as possible. Okay, so today we're going to go through 3 tools, there's a couple of which you've already done prior to now, that should help you navigate through everyday life with your dog. Aim of the game is to set our dog up for success. We shouldn't willy-nilly just throw them into situations and cross our fingers and hope they're not going to blow up. So these tools that I'm giving you today are designed for those moments where you feel like this is too hard for my dog, or this is too hard for Leo, so therefore I need to employ one of the tactics to make sure that I don't have my dog tip over the edge. Chances are with your dog, if they're reactive to any degree or to any stimuli, if a reaction happens, it makes the likelihood of the next reaction even more likely again. So sometimes we have to put in like damage mitigating tools and practices and methods in place to make sure that we're not leading our dog down a inevitably unsuccessful road. Okay, what we're going to do, making sure we're constantly conscious of what's going on our 6, is give our dog adequate enough space from the group, enough space that they can deal with. So this is going to be our busy section here, these 4 black cones. If your dog needs more space, get outside of the black cones. The further from the blast zone, we'll call it, the more space we're going to need between our dogs. So we're looking at 5 or 10 yards here, a couple of yards within the blast zone. First game is our disengage game. Very simply, I'm going to move in multiple directions and wait for my dog to clock another dog. Soon as they glance at another dog, I'm going to give my marker. Yes? If my dog blows my marker off, I'm going to use a little bit of lead pressure to compel them to respond to that marker. Okay, so yes, if Elsa says, hey, no, the other dog over here is too valuable, I'm going to use my lead, a little bit of a tug, bring her head back towards me, and then pay, okay? Yes. Fortunately, she's got a really well-charged marker and she's got a good food drive, but if she were to blow me off because there's something like food on the floor, yes, I'm going to use my lead, just like I did then, to compel her and then feed her anyway. If I'm constantly getting negative reps, then 1, I need to recalibrate my dog's food drive potentially, or 2, I need to just make it easier for my dog and come away from the blast zone, okay? I don't mind 8 out of 10 success rate, a little bit of a baby correction on the 2 out of 10, but for the most part, I should be just moving around, navigating with my dog. General rule is she's not allowed to pull me, so if she flies to the end of my lead, I'm going to say, hey, no, that's not allowed. I'm not doing straight line walking now. I'm moving in lots of different directions. She clocks a dog, yes, I say yes, I pay. She blows off the marker, I use the lead, and then I would pay. Everyone all right with that? Lots of different directions, don't bump into anyone. If you get somewhere new with your dog, this is the first thing on the agenda. Lots of change of direction, lots of change of direction. Think of a clock face, go 12, then 6, go 9, then 3. So your dog's got to kind of work hard for you to keep them, or to keep you in their peripheral vision. Nice, very good. And we're waiting for the moment our dog just glances at the other dog. They clock their existence. Yes, mark, move, reward. We're trying to condition a response that when our dog sees another dog, or any stimuli that they're potentially triggered by, their first and foremost thought will be to think about mum or dad. And then once we have that, we can overlay instruction on. But the first thing we need is that ability to disengage our dog.
Yes.
Very nice. This is your warm-up. Whenever you go somewhere new, the first thing you want to do is generalize your marker. Generalize it that it's still very important to your dog. That they hear the YES, they hear the clicker or whatever you're using, and they have to respond. That is our foundation for anything. Do we have our dog's attention? If we don't have their attention, there's no point giving a sit, a down, a switch, or anything like that. So you pop them in the car, you go out for a walk, you might spend 5 minutes in the car park doing a little bit of this. Our rate of success should reflect directly how hard we make it for our dog. If they're killing it and they're just responding to every marker every single time, make it harder, dial things up. If they're struggling, help them out, make it easier. Yeah, Kez, come opposite our boxer for us. Shuffle down, Kez. Yeah. Boxer's over there. That's Labrador. And then our Rottie opposite our Cock-a-doodle-doo. Labby Lab. One Vizsla with Elsa. One Vizsla with Weimaraner. Wilson. Instagram famous Wilson. Loves it. He has a whole Instagram account with no thumbs. It's incredible. Yeah, he is. All right, little star. I can't talk. Are we opposite Wilson there, yeah? You're going to be starstruck. This next one, you use sparingly, because this is our get out of jail free card. We're going to load it up with a lot of value. It's just going to be a let's go. It's just going to be a change of direction. And this is going to be reserved for times as to when we're walking down the street. There's a Springer poo walking. It's at the end of a flexi lead. It's all over the show and you need to duck into a driveway. You see your dog thinking, I'm going to blow my fucking lid here. So what we're going to do is give a let's go, duck into a driveway. So let's say I've got my retriever here. I'm heading towards my Labrador. She's thinking about blowing her lid. I'm going to give a 180, but I want to couple it with quite a lot of reinforcement. So at least 3 or 4 yeses. So I'm going this way. Springle-doodle-doo's heading the opposite way. She's about to blow her shit. Let's go. Yes. 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 I wait for Springle-doodle-doo to pass while I'm hidden in someone's driveway or behind a car or whatever. I know it's a diversion, but sometimes we do need to divert our dog's attention when they're ultimately being set up for failure. All right? If our dog is about to go into a situation where we go, there's no positive outcome here, it's better to bring them out of a situation than them to rehearse failure and blowing their lid, and therefore fuck the rest of our walk up or our training session or whatever it is, okay? Sometimes we have to take a smaller win over a loss. We're going to work with the dog opposite us. We're going to head towards, all right? We can both do the get out whenever we want. So if I feel like Elsa's about to lose her head, let's go. I move. I uno, dos, tres. 3 yeses, 3 payments to give that new command a hell of a lot of value. So when my dog hears it, they're like, oh, there's a party behind me. I get it. And they're going to come along with you, all right? We want to identify our dogs prior to their point of no return, losing their head, give the let's go, back up, 1, 2, 3. You want to stay in your lane. So if I'm working with my Frenchies, she's there, let's go, 1, 2, 3, I go back to the beginning. This side, you're all going to go first. This side, you're going to stay where you are unless you feel like your dog's about to lose their shit. And then you give the let's go, and you reverse behind, and you 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense this side, yeah? That all makes sense this side, yeah? Be careful of the dogs next to you. You want to, when you go backwards, I don't want to let's go and walk over here and bump into someone. I want to let's go, yes, 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 okay? You give the let's go once, associated with 3 yeses. This is more of a management tool than a training tool, and that's fine. Right, you guys head out this way before they blow their lid. Let's go, reverse, pay, pay, pay. You guys can go back whenever you want as well. If you feel like your dog can tolerate it, then no problem. Good. Do 3 reps this side, and then we're going to swap over. Yes, and yes, and yes. Very nice. I'm hearing people turn their dog around, not giving any command at all. Let's go. Move. Yes, yes, yes. You guys are going to work this way now. You guys can let's go and go behind if you need to.
Let's go.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Very nice. You're maybe going to use that one once or twice a walk. When you're in Schitt's Creek and you need to get out of there, right? It's a evac. Let's go. Yes, 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 yes. If you're constantly using it, it's going to lose all of its value. And your dog's just going to, here, let's go, load up, and probably start associating that let's go cue with, uh-oh, something bad's about to happen. So use it sparingly, associate it with a lot of value. And what we're looking for in our dog, when we give this command, is probably chest comes up, they start puffing, ears come up, eyes start to glare, let's go. We reward with space and food. That's cool. All right, you guys, jump to your side. Come on, handsome. Okay, switch command now. If you're used to holding your lead in your right hand and doing the cross poddy, you're gonna have to switch over for this next one. So typically our dog's gonna start on our left. The idea to this is we're further down the line, we're a little bit more advanced, and I wanna be able to walk along. My cone here is another dog. Give a switch cue. My dog switch sides, and we pass seamlessly around the other dog, so I don't have 2 dogs crossing each other, eyeballing each other on a tight lead, setting my dog up for failure again. We want to start this stationary, so we're going to spend just 1 minute working on this stationary. My dog's going to be in a somewhat of a loose lead or heel position here. I'm going to say switch. I'm going to lure him round. Looks like Mama's been practicing something like this, I think. Yeah, yes. When he gets to my other side, it doesn't have to be super neat. It doesn't have to be this competition style heel where he's tucked in here. It can literally just be switch, there, there, there. Lovely. That's all I need. Stationary to begin with. Do 5 stationary reps before we add in a little bit of movement. Okay? Off we go. You want your lead in left hand, food in your right hand. Unless your dog walks on the right, then it will be the reverse. Just getting comfortable from the dog, transitioning from left to right, left to right. It's actually a little bit easier moving, but you need to probably start stationary just to get your hand positions right. Doesn't have to be overly complicated. Just getting your dog a smooth shift from left to right. Doesn't have to be super neat either. Very nice. Okay, back to your start cones for me. Advancement now, same again. My dog's on my left. I'm gonna give a switch, but just now whilst moving. We're not gonna traverse to the other side. I just wanna do my switch before halfway, before I bump into the dog opposite me, and then simply start again. We're walking, as we set off, heel, switch, pay him, I go and start again. Very simple, minute at this, then we'll make it harder. Get your switch in nice and early, don't push yourself for time by trying to do it up to halfway. Heel, switch, head back, heel, switch, head back. Okay, that's nice. Very nice. All right. Right, back to your start places, please. Okay, we're gonna work with the dog opposite us, and I want the dogs dead in line with each other. Our starting point is dogs in line, handlers on the outside. My job is to get to the other side. We're gonna go one by one, so there's loads of space and loads of time. You're gonna set off by giving your loose lead command, heel, close, whatever it needs to be, close. I'm gonna start my switch nice and early, way before the halfway point. So I say close, switch, I bring Ralph over here. Ronan's mum is gonna bring Ronan over there. We're gonna cross each other. Hello, how are you? Happy New Year. Even though it's far too late to be saying Happy New Year still. And then we go to the other side. I pay my dog. I return to my original starting point. Switch. Perfect. Just these guys, off they go. Nice early switch. Good. That's nice. Very good. Right. Next ones. Very nice. Lots of space. Good. Use your lead to help. He wants to lie down, I think. That's nice. Well done. Switch. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Almost. Almost. That's it. That's it. Use your food. Good. That's fine. Good job. Gingers. Off we go. Nice. Lovely. Good. Next ones. Off we go. Nice and early. Remember, you don't want to be doing the switch as your dog is crossing the other dog. I don't mind if you hold the food in front of your dog's nose, even if you pass. If it means getting a win and avoiding a loss, that's absolutely fine. Who's the next ones? Good. Switch.
Oh, yes.
That's much better. There you go. I'm going to give you each number. Remember your number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number ones here behind each other. Okay, plenty of space. Number twos facing downfield behind that cone, please. Number threes, downfield. Fours down here. We're gonna keep a continuous conveyor belt. All right, first group, you're heading opposite each other. That's Eric and Boxer, Vizsla, Ronan. Off we go. Nice early switches, please. Very nice. Early switch, early switch. Once you get to a certain proximity to your dog's trigger, there will be a point of no return where they won't want food. You need to do your switch before that point, and that's going to vary depending on your dog. Perfect. Very good. Okay, park your dogs up. That's good. Well done. If at any point you're trying to do one of these exercises and your dog's blowing you off, they're not following the food, you go back to the first drill. Change the direction, an orientation drill we call it, marking and rewarding on sight of a trigger, and also giving that little bit of negative reinforcement if they're blowing the marker off, not wanting the food. Okay? Very good. You're all free to go. Keep the quality up that you've put into practice today in class from now until you get to the car, and then when you come out of the car until you go into your house, okay? Or wherever else you go in. Good to see you all. See you all next week. Well done.
So if you found that video helpful, but you feel like you're missing that key component of a charge marker, then you probably want to watch this video right here.